I'm Ashley Estelle, Executive Director of the Women's Recovery Center.
And I'm Stacy Reed, President of the Board of Directors. So I'm super excited for this organization. I too share the same passion that Ashley has, and we have just been Wonder Twins activated this past year and a half. So I'm super excited to be here and to share more about the Women's Recovery Center.
The grand opening was...
It was really well received.
Yes, it was, I think,
January of 2020, so it was just before we had no idea the pandemic was lurking, and this place was packed. I mean, the hallways, every room was packed, and the days leading up to it, we were in here painting, hanging blinds, doing lights, hanging signs. I mean, we were, from tip to tail cleaning the place, but it went off very lovely. We had a news team here. There were so many people. I couldn't believe it. Al did a great job at arranging the parking lot. It was like a game of Jenga out in the parking lot with how many cars that he fit in there. But that just shows you how everybody from the board president to our security guard all pitched in to make this event come off, and it was again really well received.
Yeah. It was always nice during COVID to look back at that month and say, wow, that was an awesome event. I can't wait until we can do that again in a very long time. I became involved with the Women's Recovery Center in 2017. I had a boss who was involved as a board member with the Women's Recovery Center, Tara DeVore. And actually it's funny because Stacy got pulled in by the same person, Tara DeVore, a year after I did, so we both owe our dedication to the Women's Recovery Center to Tara. I have substance use disorder within my immediate family, and I am what you call an adult child. My father is an addict. I think he is 1 year in recovery, but had 45 years of active addiction prior to that. So I've seen it within my own family and know the havoc that it wreaks on other families. So I'm very passionate about the disease, and I'm interested in this field because I want to get people the help that they need. And I think we have so much work to do, so it's extremely important. I became involved in the board of directors, like I said, in 2017. And at that point, I got my feet wet. I figured out what needed to be done around here, learned a lot, and was an active board member. And then the vice president role on the board of directors opened up, so I stepped into that role and helped out on our 3-year strategic plan. That was a really rewarding process for me, and a part of that, I really fell in love with the Women's Recovery Center at that point and got to know more of the details and the direction that the prior executive director wanted to go. And the executive director position opened up in 2019, and I decided to take a jump and try out working for a nonprofit, which has been a long-term dream of mine.
I am an adult child of an alcoholic. I grew up in an alcoholic home. My brother was also an addict and went into treatment for the first time when he was 13. When I was 11, I recognized that there was something wrong with our family, and I saw a PSA on Alateen on TV, and I picked up the phone and I called the number, and I've been involved in the recovery world since then, and that's close to over 40 years now. And I am a wife, a daughter, a sister, a niece, and a cousin, and a stepdaughter. So, recovery and addiction is through and through our family. By the grace of God, my brother and father are sober for several decades, and so I'm very grateful for that. I got involved in the Women's Recovery Center through golfing with the Run Jane Run event, and it was Tara DeVore who, should we say, roped us in to this institution, and I had no idea what we were golfing for. It just was Run Jane Run, Women's Recovery Center, yada yada yada. And it wasn't until my 5th year that I finally asked Tara, I'm like, what do you guys do? And so she shared with me and extended an invitation to come sit in on a board of directors meeting. And so I was selected to become part of the board in January of 2019, and then recently rose to become the president in January of this year.
We actually just changed our mission, and we moved to serve women to the forefront of our mission. And I think that is really important to capture our main goal at the Women's Recovery Center. To serve women is first, and the addiction obviously is second, but we want to serve a person, and we want to look at that person as someone who has a family, someone who has a future in recovery. Obviously, we're focused on recovery and sobriety and treatment and looking at it as a chronic disease, but that person is first. So our mission statement, I'll read it so I make sure I don't fumble any words, but it is to serve women and their families by providing comprehensive substance use disorder treatment, prevention, and education programs that are client-centered, family-based, and recovery-focused. So my main role, and Stacy also as a leadership team, is basically to keep pushing that forward, to make sure that we are providing excellence within our care model, to make sure that we keep expanding and shifting programming to face the needs of our community and our women and our clients, and to keep every year after year making sure that we can get better and better and better to serve our community. As we go forward, so much needs to change because people are not getting the help that they need. So we always are shifting and thinking about how do we get into primary care clinics, and how do we get into gynecology and work with the hospitals and have this very distinct network that works together to reach people and educate people on the disease, because our society as a whole is undereducated. So I would say mostly, program expansion, program excellence, and outreach is my main goal at the Women's Recovery Center, and make sure that we continue to get better to provide people more help.
That's excellent. Yeah, that's awesome. And you mentioned that under our mission statement that we're always trying to get better and better and better. And I say that we're a working board here, and we're always constantly striving to be better and to do the next right thing. And I really appreciate our vision statement. Everybody talks about mission statement, but our vision statement is dynamite. And I say ahead with our heads lifted and our sights on the future. Our vision statement says that we are committed to providing opportunities for women and their families to take greater control of their lives, physically, emotionally, and economically. And I really think that speaks to me the strongest, and I always bring this back up and speak about our vision statement whenever I can, because my goals are, from a board standpoint, is to increase the census. We have this beautiful facility, we have all the people and skill sets in place, and we want to fill this building. We have a maximum capacity of 120 people, and I look at that as one of our immediate goals. A few other immediate goals are getting our child care reopened, providing transportation. We currently provide bus passes, and I think we do Uber rides as well.
Too soon.
Yep, and but possibly getting our own van would be ideal. And getting the art therapy program up and running, which I think is right on deck. Some of the high-level near future goals that I and the board would like to see come to fruition is MAT, which is medically assisted treatment, as well as sober living. And then kind of down the line a little bit in 2022, we'd like to see medical records, electronic medical records, and that's a big investment for a small organization like ourselves. So we kind of put it out there as a stretch goal in the future. We're ongoing working to diversify our board as well as our staff to reflect our client base, and that's another big goal that's kind of always in the forefront of our minds. And I know that there was a question about how do donations affect donations from the Miracles of Giving campaign effect us. And basically, you are allowing us to continue with our everyday work as well as realizing our future goals. So I'm super excited about this fundraiser and appreciate all your contributions.
Yeah. I would just add on to Stacy's comments. Stacy, thank you for bringing up all of the work that we have planned for the next few years. I think that's most exciting to me. And as I see where we are now, where we've come from, and then where we're going, and those donations from the Miracles of Giving fundraiser really help us focus on that programming. If we don't have to worry as much about where the next dollar is coming from, then we can focus on really enhancing our programming and serving the community. It allows us more opportunities, to do that. So every dollar helps us achieve our mission even better and serve and expand more in the Stockyards neighborhood, but also Cuyahoga County and the Cleveland community.
I do give you a lot of credit how quickly you transformed to telehealth when the pandemic shut everything down. And we know in treatment, face-to-face is better, but Zoom and FaceTime and even cell phone calls is better than nothing when you're in the grips of addiction.
Late March last year, 2020, was interesting for everyone, and thank you, Stacy, for that compliment that we were able to shift treatment over a weekend to remote treatment. So we operated at the Women's Recovery Center partially open, so we were open in the afternoons of Monday, Wednesday, and Friday for our ladies to come in and do drug screening, which is really difficult to do remotely. You can do it, but it's easier to come on site, so we did stay open for that, and we also stayed open for anyone who did not have access to technology. So you can come in, you would come in this room and be 10 feet apart. We had obviously all of the surface cleaning protocols, which we later found out that wasn't as important, but shifted our building practices, shifted our group individual intake all remote within a few days. So I was really proud of our team who has worked for 20 plus years at the Women's Recovery Center paper. So some other facilities are on electronic medical records. We have not come to that yet. So for our clinicians being able to go to telehealth right away and utilize Zoom and see the efficiencies and see some of the really cool things that you can do with Zoom, that can be really cool for collaboration within a group. So when I sat down and said, okay, here is our list of clients, how many clients have cell phones, how many do not? That was a big worry of mine at first. I know there's a huge digital divide in Cleveland, and it's one of the worst cities for technology access and internet access in the country. So I was extremely concerned, especially with most of our women being marginalized, low income, unemployed, homeless. We only had a few clients that really needed to come on site for treatment, so we were able to accommodate for that. Some, and I would say our clients and how they had success or their success throughout the program, some that were already doing really well when we shifted to remote treatment ended up finishing and did really well. We saw the ones that were just coming into treatment struggle, and it's really difficult to start a group and meet 10 different people via Zoom when this is something that it's really scary for me, or I really don't want to be here because my probation officer said I have to be here, or my Department of Children and Family Services officer said I have to be here to get my kids back. So it was even harder to reach our clients that just start in treatment right away. When we opened up back on site June 29th, you saw some of those clients that ended up either relapsing or just not doing well in treatment come back on site, and they have now since finished because that in-person touch was really what they needed to get through. So for us, we saw that telehealth was really beneficial for our clients that were already on the cusp of doing well. They were going towards the maintenance stage, aftercare, but for the ones that were struggling, starting to continue, they came in and maybe were using that first week that they came in and really haven't achieved a sobriety measure. at that point really struggled on telehealth. Obviously, everyone talks about, yes, like some of the barriers that we broke down would be we don't need childcare if we have telehealth because your son or your daughter or whoever could be, with you or in the other room. Obviously, protect health information, but they could be close. So that really helps with the childcare barrier, transportation barrier, don't need to travel on site. But we did see some barriers with telehealth as it is and not having that in-person, face-to-face treatment.
It's a safe environment in here, and there's no threat of oppression or discrimination. And when all women are together, there is this power that comes out of it. And I think that our clients benefit from having an all-female staff as well as a majority female board of directors. We get it. We understand. The CARF accreditation was like a unicorn for this organization for years. We kept talking about the importance of being CARF accredited. And what does CARF stand for? It's
Commission on Accreditation of Rehabilitation
Facilities, right. So this really gives us the golden stamp, the super seal, and it had been talked about for years that this is something that the Women's Recovery Center wanted and needed. And it just was this elusive goal that just isolated over here. And like I said, it was like a unicorn. And Ashley and the team, and you're right, I think that during the pandemic allowed for that breathing space, or that space was created so that you guys could buckle down, hunker down, and get that CARF accreditation, which is a huge accomplishment. So a big kudos to you and the staff for wrangling the unicorn. What would you like the public to know about the Women's Recovery Center?
I would say that we are in rapid growth and expansion mode. We are excited to be able to serve more. We've mentioned that a few times in this interview already, but I can't stress that enough, that we are growing and expanding to better serve the community. Childcare is an anomaly within the treatment community, so having that and being able to provide that to our ladies and our families is something that I'm extremely proud of. I would say we have a staff that has served in this neighborhood, 3 of them for over 20 years, which I think is amazing, and that really speaks to their dedication to our mission and their drive and their love for this organization. You don't find many where we only have 10 staff right now, and that's 30%, roughly 33% of our staff that's been here for over 20 years, which is amazing. And our new staff, you can see the excitement in their eyes, and I think that starts with me, and then I think about Emma, and I think about Jasmine and Meg and our other clinicians and the interns that start. But I think it's a mission that you fall in love with when you get here, because we have a big path ahead and a lot of important work to continue to do.
Awesome. 6 things that I would like the public to know about the Women's Recovery Center. We are kind of on the quiet side of our media, but with Jasmine's help, we're no longer going to be that way. We're going to be out and about. So 6 things that I'd like the public to know about the Women's Recovery Center. First, that we're located in the Stockyard neighborhood of Cleveland, and if you're not familiar with it, we're on the near west side. It's 62nd and Store. And in this neighborhood, we embrace the underserved. We see the overlooked. And inside our door is a safe, non-judgmental haven. We provide tools. Tools are provided, life skills are gained, parenting is improved, independence is gained, and self-sufficiency is realized. And really, the Women's Recovery Center is treating addictions and liberating lives. So on behalf of Ashley and myself, we would like you to log into our Miracles of Giving website and make those donations and help us achieve our goals.
Thank you so much for tuning in. thanks for being a participant in this week's events. It turned out well last year, and we're excited to break our numbers from last year. So thanks for being a part of it. Thanks for learning more about the Women's Recovery Center and being a sound support for us.
Yep, thank you for your time.